I just thought of another thing. When I was in Spain as a oneness missionary, one of the things that many people feel is the most solid basis that they have for saying that Jesus is God is John chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word was with God,
right.
The Word was God, and the
Sure.
same was in the beginning with God.
Right.
When I was in Spain, I got a hold of the Jerusalem Bible in Spanish. Now in Spanish, the word that they use in most of the Bibles, instead of saying in the beginning was the Word, they say in the beginning was the verb, el verbo.
Oh, really?
And they see that as an action word, el verbo.
Okay.
And logos, it's really hard to translate the word logos exactly. Spanish and Portuguese and Italian have masculine and feminine. German and Greek have masculine, feminine, and neuter. And so sometimes when things are being translated, if you translated them literally, they wouldn't make sense. Well, anyway, in the Jerusalem Bible, instead of using the word el verbo, they use the word la palabra, which is a feminine word. La is a feminine word. La palabra, la mujer, the woman, and el hombre, which is a masculine word. El is for masculine, la is for feminine. So they use the word la palabra.
Wow.
They said, I'll say it in Spanish, en el principio era la palabra, y la palabra estaba con Dios, y la palabra era Dios. That means in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. And then in the next verse it said, if por ella fue hecho el mundo, and the world was made. If we were going to translate that literally, we'd have to say the world was made by her.
I see.
Because it's a feminine. But every translator knows that you can't do that.
Wow.
You would have to say it in English, or
Right.
it won't make sense. Right. And in German, it's das Wort, which is neuter.
Okay.
And that uses the word es in the next verses, which is the neuter word.
Gotcha.
And so the early English translators understood this.
I see.
And so in the Geneva Bible and some of the other Bibles, it says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, the same, or it was in the beginning with God, and by it were all things made that were made.
Okay.
And it uses the word it.
Okay. Well, let me think with you now just for a moment. Okay. The significance of all this is that we're recognizing both in the Spanish version there and perhaps in French.
And in French, it's the same thing, la parole.
Okay.
And it uses elle.
Okay.
E-L-L-E,
okay.
Which is feminine.
Okay. So by this, these translators then are recognizing that we're not talking about a masculine person being of any sort. We're talking about something that could be even cast or understood in a feminine sense.
Exactly.
Which, wouldn't that agree then greatly with Proverbs, the 8th chapter, where that wisdom, which was with God from the beginning, is a feminine.
And it's personalized. It's personalized, but not because it's a person.
Gotcha.
And in fact,
it's a personalization, I suppose you would say, or a.
In fact, when I read that the first time, all of a sudden I saw the parallel with Genesis chapter 1. 9 times we read, and God said.
Wow.
What was that?
Yeah.
That was the Word. And through an angel, he spoke to Mary. Mm-hmm. And he said, you shall conceive and bear a son.
Wow.
And he literally spoke into her womb the beginnings of our Lord Jesus.
So it's interesting then that it seems to me there's been a great overplay of the words in John 1, where the people have actually moved what surely to goodness could be neuter, it, or even cast as feminine in some languages, as you said. Mm-hmm. And we moved it into a him because we're trying to create something that John didn't really put there, and that is we're trying to create a pre-existent Son of God, or pre-existent God the Son, actually.
Yeah, we're taking
a pre-existent fellow.
We're taking a 4th century doctrine and trying to find a foundation for it in a church that never understood that.
They would never have thought of it in those terms.
They would never have thought of it in those terms. Actually, the word logos, hologos, is a masculine word. But translators know and I've done a lot of translating. You know, if you're not talking about an individual, that you would never translate it with he. You would always say it, and that really is. Even the Jehovah's Witnesses, I think, have been led astray on that.
Oh, really?
They see another being in verse 1, and so they have come up with, because there's no article after that word was God, that they can add the word a.
Wow. Okay.
And they say the word was a God.
I see.
But no, the word was God. It was God speaking. Actually, it says God was the Word. In the Luther Bible, that's the way it's translated.
Really?
God was the Word. In other words, God was in Genesis, who 9 times said, "Let there be light."
No. Let there be all these wonderful things.
Whatever it was He said, it was.
God and His Word are one.
God and His Word are one.
Not two different fellows, not two different beings. God and His Word are one.
Right.
And then, how does that come down to Jesus then? Because we know that in John 1 and 1, John is reflecting back, and he's saying that. He's saying God and His Word are one. But then this Word comes to be manifested in God's Son. Am I picturing that right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so...
And Jesus, we were made in God's likeness and image.
Right.
Adam and all of us were meant... We were meant to live perfect lives. But by disobedience, by sin, we lost that image. Jesus never lost that image. And that's why Jesus could say, "He that has seen me has seen the Father."
Absolutely.
What he really was saying, that I'm the spitting image of my dad.
Well, and that's not just a speculation, because there are scriptures that say Jesus is the image of God.
He's the express image.
And that's not a way to say He's God.
No.
You don't want to say He's God, you say Jesus is God. Jesus was God. Whatever you want to say. But He didn't say that. Jesus is the image of God.
Right.
So when you're looking at Him, you're, as much as it's possible, you're seeing God.
Yeah.
You're seeing Him. But He's not God.
the most wonderful verse, again, as far as that is concerned, I go back to where it says He's the express image of the invisible God.
Wonderful.
If God were a man, what would He look like?
This is it.
How would He act?
That's right.
This is it.